Welcome back to the channel. So today I've got the 2023 330i, the G20 chassis. So it's the refreshed or LCI life cycle impulse of the 3 Series. So this is in the regular base model. So there's no M Sport on this one. However, it does come in Dravit Grey, which is a pretty damn good color. So this is a change from the 2022 cars built in Mexico, which all 3 Series currently built, with the exception of the M3, are built in Mexico for the US market. So prior to this, you couldn't get Dravit, you couldn't get Tanzanite. That required a German allocation, so it's good that BMW is coming through with some better paints, because otherwise you're stuck with shades of white and Portimao blue, I think was one of them, of course black sapphire and mineral gray, red, and the last one was probably sunset orange. Alright, so newly refreshed. So this is what the base looks like. So the lights are the same, of course, from the other 3 Series that have been on the channel. So this is the non-M Sport version. So you get obviously a very different front fascia and bumper. The grills are going to be different as well. So still wider, but in chrome here. Much different design, so it's less aggressive than the M Sport. You get some air intakes that are actually useful. So again, no sort of blue highlights on this lighting system either. This one I believe has the premium package. We'll discuss that in a minute when we get inside and talk about options and pricing. But you know, obviously it's a very different design than before for the Halos. Over on the side we have our 793 individual wheels. See the BMW individual mark here. These are 19-inch wheels that were on the pre-LCI version as well. So let's take in Dravit Grey in the sun. So again, out of the sun it's going to be a very dark gray. I know many of you are probably tired of hearing about, oh, it's so dynamic, but it really is. But it's got that gold bronzish flaking in it. When you go to the other side, you'll see it basically in a darker gray. Out back, this is what your rear end looks like. So as far as I can tell, the taillights are basically the same. Now you don't have that aggressive black diffuser that you would have on the M Sport, so it's basically all body color. It's making, I guess, a very clean and elegant design. Alright, so moving over on the side out of direct sunlight. Now you can see Dravit Grey. Basically a dark gray out of that sunlight. So you don't get that metallic flaking popping up. A very good color. I'm glad this BMW is letting the US market get some Dravit Tanzanite. Alright, so opening up, this is a customer ordered car. So you can see, so as you can see, we have our black Vernasca leather detail with the contrast stitching. So some grain in the leather, so a step above Dakota, but below Merino. But some good contrast stitching. Nice seats, of course. I just wish we had the M Sport, just of course, so we wouldn't have it anyway. That Europe gets. And of course, iDrive 8 and the curved display. Alright, you can notice, well, I can't see it there, but Harman Kardon is back on the 330i. So you can option that on the 330i, which hadn't happened before. The big thing that's missing is still that parking assistance package, as well as the driving assistance professional package. So maybe that makes a return sometime in the future. Just don't know when that's going to happen. Of course, your iDrive 8 instrument panel. So where you're in comfort mode, you can switch between Sport and Eco Pro, and you get little different designs by default. And there's Eco Pro. And of course, you can change the instrument panel contents by using that hamburger button and then scrolling through what you can do. Then if you use the BC button, all you're just going to do is basically the trip odometers and things like that. Let me go ahead and do that as well. So here's what you get, just cycling through the different things here. Put it back into sport mode. Get much more aggressive red accented lighting here. So of course, iDrive 8. Now again, this is going to be two tastes. It's going to take you guys some while to get used to where things are and how it operates. The one thing I do agree with a lot of the comments is the climate buttons could be a little bit better. If they had, say, a dial switch somewhere here for quick access to temperature, that would be great. Because otherwise, you have to use voice commands. For example, hey BMW, set the temperature to 72 degrees.
I'm setting 72 degrees Fahrenheit for the driver.
So obviously that's not the quickest way to do it, but that's what you're going to have to live with, because unfortunately you can't control it with the iDrive controller, which is unfortunate because you have to get that climate menu. You're going to have to press that button here rather than using the controller to push down. So maybe that's addressed in the future, hopefully. We'll have to wait and see on that one here. So the good thing about the 3 Series, if you want the heated steering wheel, and you have an option, of course, it's still a button on the steering wheel. That's disappeared on the X7. So you have to go into the climate menu and adjust those things. And of course, for heated seats, you're going to have to do the same thing. You can use the touchscreen, voice command, or the iDrive control. So it's pretty easy to do that driving. I don't think if you had buttons down here on the bottom of the screen, that would be conducive to actually getting to them really quickly. But if they had the climate menu right there accessible with iDrive controller, that solves that issue there. So maybe that's something they'll address in the future, hopefully. We'll have to wait and see. I'm not going to spend a lot of time going over iDrive 8 right now. We'll have more time with an M340 coming in shortly. So if you have questions about iDrive 8, drop them in the comments and we'll be sure to hopefully address most of those questions. All right, so talking about pricing. So, starting price, the 330i, of course, can be had with the xDrive as well. $42,300. Dravit Grey Metallic, another $1,500. The leather, another $1,500. Driving assistance package, again, I don't understand why this is not standard on the car, but $700. Premium package for another $1,500. Looks going to be $1,900. Obviously, I can't read. Wheels for another $600. You get credits for the deletion of the hands-free tailgate and the digital key. $875 for Harman Kardon sound system. All told, MSRP for this particular example, $50,190. So not too bad. But this is what your console area looks like. And of course, you still have brand new for 23 is the Nub Shifter here. So basically, there's no lock and unlock button. So basically, you just foot on the brake, put it in gear, down to drive, up for reverse. For example, you put that in reverse. You got our camera system coming up here for rear view camera and park distance control sensors. And then flip it down to neutral, flip it down to drive, flip it down one more to sport. Now in sport mode, then you can use the paddle shifters. You can see we have M1 there, lit up. So if you leave it in drive and you hit the paddle shifters, it's going to go back into drive if you don't have any input. In other words, you don't shift, it goes back to drive. And of course, press the P button here to put it in the parking gear, and then the parking brake down here, of course. So a lot less decluttered in the console area, but I think issues to address with iDrive 8 should be pretty simple to solve with a software update there, letting you control the climate menu with the iDrive controller. Of course, you can also do shortcuts with different things. I don't know if you can do that. Now, you can't save it as a shortcut because it's already there. But that's about it. We'll look at the apps too. So basically, it's sort of like an iPad feel to here to get to the different apps. Now, again, just to note that it's a little bit glary on camera, but I've got the sun beating down from behind here. I can still see the instrument panel very clearly. It's not as glary as it appears on camera. All right, take a look at the back seat. So USB-C charging ports in the back here, another climate zone in the back, and black Vernasca leather. Alright, let's take one more walk around our brand new 23 330i. So it's the 4-cylinder turbo engine, B48. It's 255 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. So a peppy little 4-cylinder engine. It's our Dravit Grey out of direct sunlight again. Very dark gray. A really great color to have. It's one of our favorites for speccing vehicles, M Sport or not. So hopefully we'll have some individual colors available at the Mexico plant soon. I imagine that's going to change once they announce the M2. So maybe sometime early next year we'll have some individual paints at Mexico, because we already have Tanzanite and Dravit. It's a step in the right direction. But that's about it for a quick tour around the 2023 330i in Dravit Grey. We'll see you at the next video.